Hi everyone, in this video we will discuss about the concept of Azure VNet peering. So in our yesterday session, we had discussed about how to create a virtual network. Okay, inside virtual network, how to create subnet. We created two subnets, subnet 1 and the subnet 2. Okay, then finally we had created two virtual machine. Then we tested that both of the virtual machines were able to communicate with each other. Fine. So this is what we did yesterday. So now we are going to continue with the here onwards. So suppose when we create two virtual network here, let's say this is your virtual network 1 and this is your virtual network 2. So we can call it as VNet 1. And the range what I have mentioned, let's say this is 10.0.0.0/16, and inside this one I create a subnet, and the range of subnet, let's say 10.0.1.0/24, and then I go ahead and create one virtual machine inside it, and let's say the name of this virtual machine is VM1. Okay, this is one virtual network. Now I have created a second virtual network here, that is VNet 2. On this VNet 2, let's say the range I have taken is 20.0.0.0/16, and inside it you have taken a subnet, and let's say the name of this subnet is subnet 2, that's 20.0.1.0/24. Okay, so when you create a virtual machine inside it, let's say this is your VM2 here. So both of them part of a different virtual network now. This VNet 1 is different, this VNet is different. So in this case, the both of the virtual network do not communicate with each other by default. Okay. So what does it mean? If VM1 try to ping to your VM2, the communication will not happen in this case by default. So same thing, we have seen that inside a virtual network, if we create multiple subnet here inside the same virtual network, and let's say you are creating multiple virtual machines, okay, multiple servers are there inside different subnet, but in the same virtual network, all those resources will communicate with each other by default. Okay, communication will happen, but in this scenario communication will not happen here. So this thing you have to keep in your mind. Fine. So let me do one thing. Let me deploy all this setup left hand side and right hand side. Then we will see that whether this communication is happening or not. If it is not happening, then what are the ways available so that we can enable the communication between both of the two virtual network here. Okay. So to understand that, come here and let me see if any network already there. Okay, so what I'm going to do, first of all, let me create a virtual network. So click on virtual network here and click on add. Okay, so resource group is my RG. Let's say VNet 1. Region is Central US. IP address, I'm going with the default one, 10.0.0.0/16, and go to the subnet, and this is your subnet 1, and 10.0.1.0, and go ahead and click save on it and create your virtual network. Fine. So this is how I created my VNet 1, and inside that subnet 1 is created. So let's create the second network also. This is my VNet 2, and location region I have selected Central US, And here the range of IP address what I'm taking is 20.20.0.0.0 slash 16. Add subnet. This is my subnet 2, and the range of my subnet is 20.0.1.0 slash 24. Then go ahead and create this one. Okay, so there is one question that why two subnets are pinging to each other when they are a different network. Let's say in our previous session we had created this 10.0.2.0 also, right? And we had kept one virtual machine. Okay, so both were able to ping to each other. So why it is pinging if they are both are the different network here? The reason behind it that what Azure has done, Azure has created the system route in the backend. And according to that route, when there are multiple subnet, okay, inside the same virtual network, it allow the communication. So there is already a routing already has been placed in the backend by the Azure. And this is the architecture of the Azure. This is how it works. Okay. Those route call as system routes because that is defined by the system. There are other types of route also, user route, which is defined by the end user. So we will see that later. Correct? So this is how it works. So that is the reason both of the subnets are pinging in the same virtual network. Fine. I hope this answer your question. So both of my virtual networks are ready. If you come on VNet 1 and VNet 2, both are based on same location, same region, that is Central US. Fine. Now what I'm going to do, let me quickly deploy two virtual machine. One virtual machine I'm going to deploy inside my VNet 1, and second virtual machine I'm going to deploy inside my VNet 2 here. So how to do that? So come here and click on virtual machine, add virtual machine. Let's say this is your VM1. Region I have selected same as my network, Central US. Image I'm taking server 2016. Okay, so port 3389 has been delivered, selected. Come to networking. So in virtual network, now you can see that two virtual networks are reflecting, VNet 1 and the VNet 2. VM1 I want to place in VNet 1. This is my subnet. And I also want to give a public IP address. The name of the public IP address will be VM-IP. If you click on this button, from here you can change the name also of this IP address if you want to do it. So by default, the assignment is the dynamic. You can see that the dynamic is set here. If you want to change it to the static, from here itself, you can change it while creating your virtual machine. So I'm okay with dynamic as of now. So now network setting all set. I have placed it inside the VNet 1. Go ahead and review and create this one. So go back to your virtual machine and click on add virtual machine. My RG VM2 region is Central US. Image come back to your networking directly. So this I want to place in my VNet 2. Okay. And this is the only subnet. So that's what it is showing here, 20.0.1.0. And also I need a public IP address. Fine. So go ahead and create your second virtual machine as well. Great. So right now, if you see that this left hand side and the right hand side, both of the setup I have done. Now I will connect to my VM1 and VM2, and then I will try to ping them to see that whether they are pinging to each other or not. Okay. So go back to your virtual machine The first virtual machine is ready. Let's connect this one. Okay, let's minimize this. Go to control panel. Okay, so let's wait for the second virtual machine also. Done. So connect this as well. Go to VM2 and connect this one. So go back to your control panel. Fine. So if I now let's ping. So this is my, I think VM2. Let's check the IP address. So this is 20.0.1.4. So this is my VM2. And if I come here and check the IP address, IP config. So this is my 1.4. So this is 10.0.1.4. Other virtual machine is 20.0.1.4. So let me ping from here. So I'm pinging the other virtual machine, that is 20.0.1.4, and I'm giving a continuous ping -t, hit enter. So you can see that request timeout. So connection is not happening here. Similarly, from other virtual machine, if I try, let's say I'm currently on this 20.0.1.4. From here, you try to ping your 10.0.1.4 -t. So you can see that here as well, you are getting the request timeout. So by default, the communication between two virtual network is denied here. Okay. So let's say if I want to enable the connection between both of the virtual networks. So what options we have? So here we have concept of VNet peering. This is VNet peering, and second is called the VNet to VNet connection. So both are different ways to establish connection between two virtual network, and one by one we will see that how to configure them. First, we are going to discuss about the VNet peering. One thing about the VNet to VNet connection and VNet peering is that their objective is same as I told. What is objective? The objective is to enable the communication between VNet 1 and VNet 2, but technical differences are there. So VNet 1 is the advanced way of establishing the connection. Recently it got introduced. VNet to VNet connection is the old way of doing the connection, but this is part of your syllabus. So we will cover up and see that how we can configure the VNet to VNet connection as well. So let's focus on the first one as of now, that is VNet peering. So how to establish the VNet peering? So as I told, it is a connection between VNet 1 to VNet 2, okay? So that VM1 can ping to VM2 or VM2 can ping to VM1. So how to enable this VNet peering? To enable VNet peering, you're supposed to go to your virtual network. In the virtual network, there are two networks, VNet 1 and VNet 2. So you can see that peering word is given here. So basically two entity, and within the two uh, network, I'm trying to establish the connection here. So you open any of the network out of these two. Let's say I'm opening VNet 1, and here in setting, you have an option called peering. So click on this peering here and then click on add. Let's understand what is the meaning of all this configuration now. First of all, it is asking about the peering link name. The first link will be toward in this direction, because whenever any connection happen, the connection will happen in two directions. Let's say the one direction is this one, from your VNet 1 to VNet 2, and it is asking what you want to call it. So I'm saying I want to call it as peer 1. Okay. So same thing it is going to ask me here. So peering link name. So I said the name is peer 1. Okay. So now it is asking, do you want to allow the communication from VNet 1 to VNet 2? Do you want to allow? So I'm saying yes, go ahead and allow. If you want to block it also, you can block it as well. Okay. So right now I am saying allow. Second thing is it is asking about the traffic forwarded from the remote virtual machine. So what is the meaning of traffic forwarded? So let's understand. Traffic forwarded means the traffic which is not generated inside a virtual machine, which is coming from the outside. So let's understand it with the help of example. Suppose on this VM1, this is your web server, and on this you have hosted a website called abc.com, correct? And there is a customer here, and from the laptop, he is trying to access abc.com. So when he opened this abc.com, there is a page designed here which asks for a lot of information, personal, professional, or many kind of information. Okay, let's assume. So what happens when this customer fill up that information? Okay, fill up the information with the help of this web interface which is designed inside your website. But actually what happens in real time, we will configure some database here. Let's say this is your database server. Here you have deployed a database. So you will configure in a way that whatever information is filled by this user on your website, that should go back and store somewhere in the database. And VM2, let's say, is a database in this example. Okay. So what is happening? The traffic right now, the traffic which is coming from outside, all of the content which is filled up by the user, so it is like a forwarded traffic for this virtual machine and this network here, correct? So because this is not generated inside your virtual machine, it is coming outside from the your virtual machine or your network. So that's what it is asking you, that do you want to allow the forwarded traffic? Let's say I'm saying allow. The third option is called virtual network gateway. Okay, so you want to configure the virtual network gateway here. So right now we do not have any knowledge about what is this virtual network gateway, what is the meaning of the VPN gateway. So in coming classes, we are going to discuss this part. But right now, I will just give you a conceptual idea that you keep in your mind. So what is the meaning of this setting here? So let's say you have two network. This is your VNet 1 and this is your VNet 2. Fine. VNet 1 and this is your VNet 2. Okay. And in between, this is a internet and this is your office environment, on premises office. So let's say if you want to connect this virtual network to this on premises network, so generally what we do, we create a VPN here. Okay. And similarly, if I want to connect VNet 2 also, I will create a separate VPN for this one also. Right? This is your VPN gateway 1, let's say, and this is your VPN gateway 2. Inside your VNet, let's say a lot of servers are there in different subnets, and all these servers try to connect to your on-premises server here. So to achieve this one, what we will do? this VNet 1 will attach to your VPN gateway 1, and VPN gateway 1 via this internet go and attach to your office environment, office network. Same thing happens with your VNet 2 as well, VPN gateway, and then it will go to the internet, then finally it will go and connect to your office environment. So right now you can see that to connect to two different network, I had to create two VPN gateway here, VPN gateway 1 and VPN gateway 2. So, but this peering gave me an option that instead of creating two VPN gateway, I can manage the same setup with the help of one VPN gateway. Because whatever you create inside your Azure infrastructure, you are supposed to pay money for that. Even when you are creating this VPN gateway, for this also you are supposed to pay money. Okay, and this is a very costly resource as well. Okay, and the configuration of VPN gateway takes a lot of time. Okay, so what we are doing here, in case of this VNet peering, one option has been given. What is that option? First, you enable the VNet peering between both of the VNet 1 and the VNet 2. Then what you do, you eliminate this one, remove this VPN gateway, and there will be setting here that is called remote gateway. Let's say remote gateway. In this remote gateway setting, you just put VPN gateway 2 here. Okay, VPN gateway to this gateway. So whenever these servers are going to communicate to this network, so via this VPN gateway, via this actually this VPN gateway 2, they are going to travel now through the internet, and this VNet 2 also will use the same VPN gateway. Okay, so for this VNet 2, this gateway will be known as the transit gateway. This is a transit gateway for this one. For other VNet, it will be a remote gateway. Okay, so this is the conceptual meaning of this particular setting. Okay, right now we don't know about the VPN and all, so you can just ignore it. Fine. Now it is asking me the peering link name. If you notice here, same set of detail, it is asking me once again here. Okay, same setting, forward traffic and virtual network gateway, traffic to remote virtual network. So what is happening now? So the first thing, it is asking me the peering link name, because as I told you that connection will be always in bidirection. This is one direction and second will be this direction. Now it is asking me detail about this connection. So first of all, it is asking what is the name of this connection. So this session will expire in 10 minutes. Please rejoin it again if you feel any disconnection. Okay, so I have given a name as peer 2 here. So same thing, you go ahead and mention peer 2. Okay, and then it is asking you about the virtual network. Currently you are on VNet 1 and you supposed to give the VNet 2 here. You are on VNet 1, so you are saying establish the connection with the VNet 2. Then again, all of this information, what it is asking in respect of this peer to connection here. So let it be the default only. So I want to allow the communication for the forwarded and the normal traffic, and this virtual network gateway I will set as none. Okay, so fine, click on add. So as soon as I click on add, you can see two notification has been appeared here. Okay, one is peer 1 and second is peer 2. So at the same time you can see two connection, peer 1 and peer 2 is getting created. Okay, so let's see. So both of the connection has been created now. Fine, and if you see here on VNet 1, when you go to the peering, peer 1 has been connected. So VNet 1 is connected to VNet 2. And similarly, when you go to the VNet 2 and go to the peering, you can see automatically this peer 2 has been also created here. Because all this information it has already asked me while I was doing the configuration on the VNet 1. So it asked me about this connection also. So I gave the name and the connection detail. So VNet 2 is connected to VNet 1 via peer 2. Same thing, right? If you see this diagram, VNet 2 is connected to VNet 1 via peer 2. VNet 1 is connected to VNet 2 via the peer 1 here. Clear? Fine. So now the peering status, if you check out, it is showing as connected here. Same thing in VNet 1 also, the peering status is showing as connected here. Fine. Let's go back to your virtual machine and you can see that the communication has already started. Earlier it was showing request timeout, now it is pinging. So connection has been established. Similarly, if you go to the second virtual machine, here also the connection has been established. Let's say if I delete this connection, let's say in VNet 1, you go to peerings, then on this connection, come here and delete this one. So when you delete one connection, what will happen? You can see it is deleting both of the connection, peer 1 as well as the peer 2. Okay, so let it delete. Okay, now you can see that both of the connection has been deleted. So I deleted peer 1, even the peer 2 is also deleted from here. See, this is also gone. If you go here to your virtual machine, now connection has been deleted. So you can see the request timeout. Okay. So this is how it works, the peering.